خالق السماوات والأرضين ثم الصلاة والسلام على عبده ورسوله حبيبه وصفيه أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين الذي سمي بالقرآن بالطه وياسين والمزمل والمدثر أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين الروح وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء ولعنة الدائم الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الحكيم وقرآن المجيد وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون؟ صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات محمد وآل محمد. Last night we opened the discussion on the topic of key to success in this world and hereafter. It's among the several and unlimited and uncountable blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah has given us a tawfiq to understand Quran and to understand the teachings of His apostles, prophets, and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We learn several things from Quran, and Quran has given us the definition. Last night I discussed about that. First we have to clear the concept of success and to understand the definition of success, that what success is. Just to recap what I've said last night, that if our perception is limited to this world, this materialistic world, our definition about success will be different if we have the broader and wider concept of life after death. If we confine our assumptions and limit them to this materialistic world, the success would also be limited to the materialistic world, and a person who has more materialistic means would be considered a successful person. But if we broaden our horizon, and if you look beyond this materialistic world, you will see that the definition which has been given to us by the materialistic world is not correct. Rather, we have to include the other world as well, hereafter as well, and collectively we have to see that what we have earned and what we have collected for our for our life, not for this transition period, rather for the period, for the time we are going to live forever. Just for the example, if we go through the Quran, the very beginning of Quran, in the Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verses from 3 to 5, you will recite these verses like that. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghayb. Those who believe in unseen. Wa yuqimuna as-salata. And they offer prayers. Wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. And whatever we have given them, they distribute and they give these things to others as well. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِن قَبْلِكَ. And those people who believe in whatever we have revealed on the Prophet and before him. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. And those people who believe in the Day of Judgment as well. أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَىٰ هُدًى مِّن رَبِّهِمْ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. That people having these qualities are successful people. So we can see from the very beginning of Quran that the concept which has been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very much different to what we perceive from this materialistic world. Number one, that is to believe in unseen. That is to not just to offer prayers. Yuqimuna as-salat is just not offering prayers, but encouraging others to offer prayers as well. And whatever has been given to us from the bounties of Allah, we just do not confine it to ourselves, rather we distribute among the needy people as well. Number 4, we believe, a person who believes in whatever has been revealed on the Prophet and on the prophets before him. And then it's been said, the people who believe in Yawm al-Akhir, the Day of Judgment, the Day of Accountability, is very much important. Sometimes ulama has mentioned in their books that if there wasn't the concept of Day of Judgment, there was the concept of Tawheed would have been invalid or void sort of concept. Because nobody is going to then worship Allah, nobody is going to be being obedient and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's take another verse, another chapter, that is chapter number 23, Surah Al-Mu'minun. From ayat, verse number 1 to 4. It says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ, and so on. There are several other verses which counts the qualities that a mu'min and believer should possess. Again over here, falah, qad aflaha, that indeed a believer has succeeded. The word over here, that it's been promised, it's been committed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that if a person, a believer, possess these qualities, that person will considered as a successful person. He has been succeed already if that person has observed these qualities and these acts according to Quran. So you can see that the definition varies. There can be several other verses from Quran and from Hadith as well. But over here I would like to point out those three major factors and three keys to success, not only in the life after death, but also in this world as well. There are three factors. Number one is the knowledge. Knowledge is one of the prime factors to achieve success in this world and the life after death as well. Second thing which should be considered, that is piety, taqwa, piousness. That is, which means that a person should be obedient and practice according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told him to practice. And number three, as a factor of success, is having ethical and moral values which decorates our faith and our actions, which is the mode and medium to convey the core teachings of Islam. Through ethics and moral values, the depth of religion can be understood through these things. And it's very basic. If you come from the other side, just to understand this, for everything, whatever we see over here, like this mic is in front of me, is an object, but behind this object's existence, there were two things. One was theory, and another thing was practical. Theory, the concept. And on that concept, acts were being done, practices were being done, so this thing came into existence. Similarly, through knowledge, through ma'arafah, a person gains and comes to know that on what he should believe. Like in Nahjul Balagha, Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says, Allahumma salli Muhammad wa ala Awwaluddin ma'arafatuhu wa kamalu ma'arafati at-tasdiq bih. Awwaluddin ma'arafatuhu. That the beginning, the start of religion, if a person wants to be a religious one, it starts with the ma'arifatullah, with the knowledge, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How a person will know? It's through knowledge. It's through knowledge. And so what knowledge is? All those informations, all those type of information which can bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only through knowledge we can open the gates of knowing things. That's in Surah Mujadala, chapter number 58, verse number 11. The part of the ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَرْفَعَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ وَاللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ. That Allah have raised your position of those people who believe, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ, those who believe, and those who have knowledge. Allah has raised their level. Allah has given them the higher level than others because of their knowledge. Scholars, ulama, in every society maybe are not that well paid, but they have been well respected. Why? Because of their knowledge. Everywhere knowledge has been praised. There is nowhere in this world, not in the past, not in the present, I don't know about the future, because the time will come where people who are not having knowledge will be praised much more than others. Still we can see here and there, maybe who has not a learned person but can do something, maybe in the Hollywood or Bollywood, that person will be praised more than a knowledgeable person. Maybe someone who can cheat better than others, we say that person is a much more successful businessman than others. The success, this materialistic world has changed the meaning of knowledge and virtue as well. We come to one of the hadiths from the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this hadith, the Holy Prophet says about knowledge, he says, "Bihi yuta'ur Rabb wa yu'bad." With the help of knowledge, if a person has ilm wal ma'arifah, if a person has knowledge and recognize and know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in detail, in depth, that person, this knowledge will help to be an obedient person towards Allah. A person cannot be a good servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until and unless that person has enough knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's sometimes we just say, just ourselves that we are a good person, we are a good Muslims, we are a good Shias, without practicing according to it. We say that Islam is in our hearts. It doesn't matter if it's not in our actions. It's in one of the phrases like being used in Persian, it says, "Ba halwa halwa kardan, dahan shirin nami shavad." If someone says halwa, just sweets, but by saying sweets are sweets, your mouth's not going to be sweetened. You have to eat it. You have to take it. Okay? Similarly, just by saying Hussein, Hussein, you are not going to be a person who is a follower of Hussein. You have to take the teachings of Hussein, take the teachings of Ali, you have to take the teachings of Quran. Then you can say that we are the followers of Quran, we are the followers of Ali, we are the followers of Hussein. Just by saying and taking their names, you won't achieve anything. Just take an example. If someone who wants to be a doctor or engineer, he just goes and sits in the university, medicine university, for 5 years, for 10 years. Even after 10 years, that person won't be a doctor. Why? Because he has not attended those classes. Because he has not understood what has been taught in that university. So how can a person just by saying that I am believer in Quran, I am the believer and follower of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad alayhimus salam, how could we just say that, just giving a label on our chest that we are the followers and we assume we are followers? No, it cannot be. It's not having any rationality behind it. So, the Holy Prophet in this hadith also saying the same thing. Rather, what he said, we said the same thing, That is that with knowledge, pure knowledge, actual knowledge, a person is able to worship Allah as He wishes us that we should worship Him. Most of the time, we try to tell Allah that what should be, what type of Islam should be in these days. The Quran says, I don't remember the exact verse, but Quran says, Prophet, tell them, are they going to teach me about religion, or I am going to teach them about religion? We say, though, this verse is not correct. Because we don't want to do hijab, so we say, no, the hijab verse was about those days. Nowadays, there is no concept of hijab. Hijab should be in our eyes, that's it. So then everyone should be allowed to go to clubs as well and pubs, isn't it? So, because everything is in our eyes, if we don't want to give charity, we say, we ourselves are poor. So we need a better car. We don't have money. How can we give zakat and khums and charity and help to our brothers and sisters and give charity to the Imam Baragah and centers? We need ourselves. So we see ourselves the most miserable and poor person of this world. With ilm, with knowledge, وَبِهِ تُوصِلُ الْأَرْحَامِ, and knowledge give us the sense of responsibility towards our family members. Silatul Arham, that having connection with our family members, blood relatives, is very much important in this part of the world. And now these viruses are being transferred very frequently to the other part of the world as well. That we say we are responsible for our just close family, that is wife and children, that's it. A person says, I don't have any responsibility about my parents, because over here, fortunately, unfortunately, state look after them. So we say we don't have any responsibility towards our brothers and sisters because they have to work for themselves. And when there is a dispute between husband and wife, they say, you should work yourself and earn for yourself, and you spend for your own things. I'm not going to give you anything. So it's things being divided. We don't want to take the responsibility which is given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we are responsible not only for our close family members, that is wife or wives. It's not possible over here. I know that wives are not possible. Well, but wife and children are possible. Well, so for our parents as well. Someone came to me and just narrated that I have a wife and my mother is also alone, but my wife is not ready to stay with her in same home. So I rented another apartment. So my mother is in another apartment and my wife and children are in another apartment. But I spend one night at my apartment, that is with my wife and my children, and one night with my mother. Is it wrong or right? Well, this was the objection by his wife, that you cannot go and stay. But according to the Islamic rulings, it's one of the 4 nights is important to stay with wife. Otherwise, that person can stay anywhere. So you say, as you are my responsibility, my mother is also my responsibility. I have to go and give her medicine and look after her as well. So it's the responsibility, and he was correct. That as a person has responsibility towards his wife and children, similarly, he has responsibility towards his parents as well. And then after that, responsibility of brothers and sisters and neighbors also come. Neighbors. Other blood relatives, maternal uncle, paternal uncle, these uncles and aunts also becomes the responsibility if they are in need. It's just not, Sila Rahim is not about the need. Sila Rahim is about the relation and having knowledge and pure knowledge. That is the thing which Allah wants us to know. If we learn about those things, this will make us a responsible person towards our family members, family as a whole unit, not just the wife and children. Similarly, the Holy Prophet says that with the help of knowledge, a person will know that what is permissible and what is prohibited, that is halal and haram. Al-ilm imamul amal wal amal tabi'ahu. And then knowledge is guide of actions. A person cannot perform anything correct until and unless that person has correct knowledge and information. In our worldly matters, a person has not been given a license to drive a car until he knows how to drive it. And of course the age is over there as well. Age means bulughat in Shariat. Okay? So it's the information is very much important. And similarly, Imam Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam also mentioned in one of the hadiths that bil ilm yu'rifullah, that with the help of knowledge a person comes to know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa yuwahhid, and just not to know about Him but also believe in oneness of Allah. Why people may believe in Allah but not in one Allah? It is because of lack of knowledge. So knowledge is key to success. If we have correct knowledge, sufficient knowledge, pure knowledge, we will be able to develop a strong belief and faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam says, similarly, like the Holy Prophet said, وَبِهِ يُعْرَفُ الْحَلَالَ وَالْحَرَامِ, and with the help of knowledge a person comes to know that what permissible things are, what is prohibited. Being the knowledge is the basic factor. Every society requires few things to be a good society, a successful society. And for that sort of society, whether regardless it's Islamic society or a non-Islamic society, but they need few basic things. What are those few basic things? One is educational system. The second is family system. Third is judiciary system. Fourth is financial and economic system. And fifth is administrative and political system. No society can stand and can develop itself without these 5 factors and 5 pillars. Every society should have this thing. And Islam also insists and emphasis on these factors. So then what is the difference if both the societies, Islamic and non-Islamic societies, they must have these 5 factors and pillars, then what is the difference between an Islamic society and a non-Islamic society? There is only one difference between them. One difference. And that difference is Tawheed, oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it's Islamic society, if it's an Islamic society, all these 5 pillars or 5 factors revolves around the focal point, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That whatever Allah has said, the education system is according to the Islamic teachings. The political system is according to the Islamic teachings. The family system is based on Quranic and Islamic teachings. The financial and economic system is again developed and evolved in the light of Islamic teachings. And the judiciary system is also based on the system and the knowledge which has been given to us, that is the just knowledge. This is the basic difference. It's the basic difference. And if we want to create a healthy, a successful person, we have to create this sort of society. Say, in this part of the world, how it's possible? Okay, yes. You're not asking to change the system, but you can make an environment among yourselves, between yourselves. You should come closer to each other. You can have your own education system giving a clean and pure environment. Pure and clean environment from what? From sins. Because this Western world, this materialistic world is polluted with several types of sins and incorrect concepts. So how we can convey and impart correct concepts, that is the concepts of Quran and Ahlul Bayt, to our children and to our generations, is to having a separate educational system, which is very much important, very much important. And it's not only books which are important, the books which we are going to teach to our children, but also the teacher is very much important. Rather, teacher is much more important than the book. Teacher is very much important. And again, the environment which we are going to give. So, even living far away from the place where it's the society at large is not an Islamic society, but the environment in which we are living, we can make our own environment in which we can impart Quranic and Islamic teachings. Nowadays, what this Western world is trying to do, it's trying to promote pluralism. What is pluralism? Just easily telling you, briefly and simply, is that diluting the values, religious values, values which are based on religion. It's not just Islam, but even the Christianity is in danger. Judaism is also in danger. Even Hinduism and Buddhism is also in danger in this part of the world. And now it's been exported to other part of the world as well. What they want to become gods like Pharaoh. They want to become gods like Namrud. What Pharaoh used to say, that don't listen to Musa, the message he has brought from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there is no God except him. Pharaoh said, don't believe in him, don't believe in Musa. And he wanted to rule, he wanted to say that you all people are my servants and you will serve me only. So how this could be possible in our times? How this could be possible? Pluralism is the key to make it possible for the people who want to be so-called superpower in this world, in this universe. Once our children becomes ignorant to religions, they started to hate their own values and disregard them, because these values may not match with each other. The values which has been given in Islam may do not match values given in Christianity. Similarly, the values in Christianity do not match with the values given in Judaism. Hinduism values do not match. Maybe not all, but some of them they may have clashes. So they want to promote this and make us feel as if we are doing something wrong. And that's why sometimes we feel, oh, why we are doing hijab? Why we are wearing beard? Why we are offering prayers? Others are not praying, offering, and when we offer prayers, people look towards us that what we are doing. We are doing something different than others. So we feel sometimes ashamed of performing those acts. And that's they want us to feel. Who? Those people who are promoting pluralism. And why we feel like that? Because we are not that strong in our faith. Because we have not understood. Why we are not strong in our faith? Why? How we can be strong in our faith? It's having a good understanding of religion, good understanding of Quran. In one of the hadiths, just coming to the conclusions, in one of the hadiths, the hadith is from Rasulullah Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. It says, "Man lam yasbir ala dhull al-ta'alim sa'atan baqiya fi dhull al-jahl abada." It says that in this hadith, a person who cannot take the trouble to learn something, to get the knowledge, that person will remain in the darkness of ignorance. Knowledge cannot be gained just playing on your computers. Knowledge cannot be gained just like watching television. No. To know something, to learn something, to gain something, we have to struggle for it. Nothing good can be achieved. Even a sportsman cannot be a good sportsman until he put his efforts in it, in hearts in it. Even if you go in your field, in the playing ground, your coach will say, play with your heart. That put all your efforts, whatever you can do to play better at a good game over there. Similarly, when a common sort of game cannot be played without making our full efforts, how the Quran and the knowledge which was been revealed on the Holy Prophet after he sent 124,000 prophets. This book, Quran, is not a common book. To understand a common book which has been printed and it's been available in the market, we need a teacher to understand it. We need a guide. Otherwise, everyone could be a doctor by just reading books of medicine. Everyone could be a engineer or I don't know, maybe some astronomers or something like that, just by reading books. Books are available. No. Even these books which has been written by people like us, it's not been revealed. These books are not been revealed. These books of physics, medicine, chemistry, mathematics, it's just been written by people like us. And it's difficult for us to understand what has been written by these people. So how it is possible to know something which has been revealed on the Prophet Muhammad after 124,000 prophets came, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this book, and we say that we can understand it by ourselves? No. And this is one of the reasons for which the believers in Aimma alayhi salam says that we need leaders, infallible leaders, which can guide us perfectly so we can perform excellently. These books take us out from a gloomy environment to a blooming environment. This book is a spring. Spring for whom? For the people who seek knowledge. It's a cure for the people who wants to be cured by this. If they feel that there is something wrong going in their hearts and their minds, this is the Quran and the teachings of Ahlul Bayt which will guide us with their light towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what Imam Hussain did in Karbala. That's what he did. And the light which was been lightened in the 61 Hijri, 61 Hijrah, it's still over there. And whenever we read about it, whenever we listen about it, it's always a guide. It's enlightened us. It always teaching something or the other. And we always learn. It's not only Imam Hussain alayhi salam, but his companions teach us everything. It's been said for many years by many scholars and ulama that whatever you want to learn, you can learn it from the tragedy of Karbala. You want to learn how to be a knowledgeable person? If you want to learn how to be a responsible person, you want to learn how to be a person having patience, not feeling and crying for what has been done to him, parts of his body has been cut off. Yes. And not only from the people who have been martyred and butchered in the field of Karbala, but from the prisoners which were being taken from one city to another, from one place to another. The tragedy is far beyond our understanding. The people who died in the battlefield of Karbala were not the only people who got the elevated place and position of Shahada for martyrdom. But when this caravan of captives were being taken from one city to another, what happened? They were being small childs over there who used to be dropped from the camels. And their mother used to cry that my child has been robbed. Just stop the caravan and let me bring this child in my arms again. But they were being left just like that, and they died without water. So there were being places, if you visit Syria, you will find there were been places of small graves, and those small graves were the footsteps and the milestones towards Syria. From Karbala to Syria, these small kids gave their lives to tell the people to come in future, look, we also sacrificed ourselves, and these are the footsteps of Imam Hussein and Ahlul Bayt. This caravan reached Syria, and this now caravan is in front of Yazid. And before taking them in front of Yazid, what they did? They lined these ladies and these children, and they tied up with the same rope, and they took them just like the prisoners of war, as if they are been taken prisons from the infields, prisoners. So when they reached in front of Yazid, the fourth Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam said, Yazid, what would be your answer if on the day of judgment the Holy Prophet will ask that why you have did this to my family? Something he felt, maybe politically, and then he asked that untie these people. Then he asked to bring the head of Imam Hussein in a golden tray covered with a piece of cloth. There was a small child of 4 years who wanted to see the head of his father but could not. And from there far away, she asked, Ya Abata, oh my father, come in my arms. I am missing you. And people saw this miracle that the head of Hussein come into the arms of Sakina. ألا ولعنة الله على قوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. اللهم نسألك وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم العازل الأجل الأكرم بدم مقتول بكربلاء. يا الله 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 يا رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا هَذَا الْقَلِيلِ. O God, accept this small deed from us. Allah, Allah, forgive my sins, my parents' sins, and the sins of all those who have all those mu'mineen who have performed any sort of major or minor sins. O Allah, accept our prayers. O Allah, whoever is bedridden, give him early cure. O Allah, whoever is ill, make him well. O Allah, those people who are asking you for anything legitimate, may Allah grant them what they want. O Allah, give our ulama and scholars a blessed and a long, healthy life. O Allah, give success to our Islamic army. O Allah, give success to us and give us tawfiq to be amongst the army men of Imam Zamana, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajah Sharif. O Allah, hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam al-Mahdi. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma kulli waliyika al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل الساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا.